Good morning to everybody. Uh, since it was a function of felicitating Professor Anand Kumar, so I didn't have any courage to say no when Ashish had asked me, please join in that program. So on last Friday, it had been actually confirmed, and I had already scheduled meeting at 11 o'clock outside of the campus. So sorry that I have to leave early, and thank you for giving me chance to give the space to leave early. And it is for any teachers. It's a very, very great moment after retirement when students usually come together and try to celebrate his works, whatever he has done throughout his life. And as a student of JNU or as a colleague of Professor Anand Kumar, he was very, very renowned and popular teachers among all the sections of the members of JNU community. We can recall that during our student life, though the interpretations, I do not know to bring any controversy, but the voices we usually say, this is most democratic and enabling spaces, but it's always not like that. I do not know whether he will agree or not. I was students towards the late 80s. When I joined, it was a very, very regimented, monolithic kind of practices in terms of politics. And whatever the alternative voices used to come, that used to be very, very demolished. So few persons were there. We used to celebrate that even within that regime, some people got chance to establish their alternative voices. So Professor Anand Kumar, I can recall, as a student, that time I knew there is a teacher in CSSS, Professor Anand Kumar, and he fought against that polarized campus and became JNU president. It was beyond imaginations during our time. And I can recall that as a student, because many a times whenever you keep on discussing certain things, the academic or historical or certain intellectual discourses comes, but always your personal experiences mixed with it. So I can say that in 1987 when I came, it was very, very difficult, and almost most of the students knew that the politics are going to come like this. Only somehow Professor Anand Kumar, how did he manage to get elected and establish certain alternative voices? It was very, very difficult. And in 1989, I do not know whether we will agree or not, after Tiananmen Square, certain chances of getting spaces of alternative voices came. And after that 1989, we find whether we disagree or agree with certain things, but we found the chances of spaces, creating spaces and participations, it became. And today we find so many political parties in the campus are fighting elections, but we know those who were in the 80s, it was only 3 or 4 political parties, and only 1 or 2 they used to reign over it. This was the charismatic and intellectual, and I think JNU is a very, very acceptable place, and in that time it was very difficult, but he could establish his alternative voices. And later on he became JNU Teachers Association President. I think more than once or twice he had been the president of JNUTA, and later on, after 2010, we also took active interest in JNUTA, and there we used to see his name that in that year he was the president of JNU. This is his, I am telling because we are celebrating his works in the lenses of democracy and public sociology. So it's not that academically in class we are discussing about the democracy or the socioeconomic conditions of the people, inequality or the poverty, but also that masses who usually determine about the democracy shapes and nature and pattern, that whether we agree or not, that public sociology is also very, very important. There you need to have the actions on the ground, and you need to have the influences in the mobilizations and giving the shape of the democracy. And we know that not only in the classroom, he had practiced it in terms of giving academic discussions and deliberations, but also in his practical life, always we have seen that he has come in the forefront, and whatever chances he has got, every time he has participated in it. And even after retirement, and you know, the 65 years is a huge age. And when when we are student in 80s, that India's mortality was 63, 64. And if someone is passing, we used to say, what was the age? If someone is above 60, then okay, वो तो मरने का time हो गया था, so it's he retired from JNU at age of 65. After that, he started actually practicing public democracy, if you say that, public sociology, and he tried to give shape of the society. Why I am saying so? That many persons usually get exhausted after 65, but he has that energy, and he has the courage to come forward and give of the shape. And we know that that was a time when people started thinking of indifferently and wanted to have a shape in the sphere of democracy. And academically, whenever we got chance, that Professor Anand Kumar is giving certain lectures, so always we are very, very keen to listen him. So today I am very actually feeling bad that I will not be able to listen him. And nowadays it's very, very difficult to get chance to listen him. When we were teachers, he was also our colleagues, or even when we were student. And in JNU, you know, there are chances of getting popular lectures and listening the good speakers, where ample chances were there. But nowadays, listening him is very, very difficult. And I would have been very, very happy to listen him, because after so many years have passed, so whatever his thoughts about democracy, about public sociology, it's very, very important, because in every years the situations are changing. The way you usually say, this is the democracy and it should have the functioning. So as he was telling that people are demanding that we should have the discussions about Nepal's situations. So if you think about the neighboring countries, whatever is happening in last 1 or 2 years or 3 years, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh or Nepal, this is a kind of thing we have to discuss about what is actually democracy. That one elected governments are coming, 60, 70 years we are thinking in this subcontinent, and we celebrated in terms of democracy, but that is being dislodged, and we are getting a kind of government which in that sense are not democratic, but they are getting full power to govern the society. And even in many cases we have seen that they are taking certain structural decisions and giving certain policies which otherwise is not at all welcoming or celebrated in the framework of democracy. But it is happening. Whenever it is happening, as I have told, that our experiences also gets blended with our perceptions, opinions, and which may differ with the other opinions and perceptions or the academic acceptances or certain theoretical discourses. But these are happening, and since it is happening and these are reality, we cannot ignore and we must have to discuss about these things. So today, when he is here, I think his experiences and interactions with the situations, whatever is happening within the society, in terms of sociology, in terms of politics, or in terms of academic discourse, those will come. We usually take the classrooms as a laboratory and we go to the society for practicing it in the form of politics or in the form of celebrating democracy. So students have gathered, and those who are very, very younger students, they will be immensely benefited, and I am really thankful to the organizer that they are giving a chance to get a kind of interactions with the Professor Anand Kumar and the younger students and scholars. It's a great opportunity, and therefore this seminar with Professor Anand Kumar, no doubt it will be very, very successful, and every students and teachers and all the academic community, they will get the thoughts which they have to think over it, and they can get a kind of reshaping of their established and accepted thoughts or opinion, whatever they had. And I wish all the success, and thanks for the organizers for giving me chance to have interaction with Professor Anand Kumar, though it is a very little. Thank you so much.